And first, let me say that on the supply side, because there's been some news out about that, because of the moves we took in January before we ever knew this medicine was going to be successful, and the fact that it takes 6 to 7 months to produce this from start to finish, I'm happy to say that as of today, we have more than sufficient supply for patients in the U.S. that have the misfortune of being hospitalized. And as of October, we'll actually have enough to support the rest of the world in terms of real-time demand. That's important as we think about the upcoming winter season in the northern hemisphere. The second thing is on the clinical data side. Yes, we've done 3 gold standard trials. All have been very, very consistent about the benefit of remdesivir for patients in the hospital, and particularly if it's used even earlier in the hospital setting. We see maybe the greatest benefit for those patients that are just starting to get oxygen in the hospital in terms of their recovery times and in terms of their ability to be able to survive the disease. So it really provides an important impact for patients. And, of course, hospitals and doctors and caregivers are coming up to speed with this information. But there's no doubt it provides a really important impact. And, as you mentioned, for particularly later stage patients, when it's beyond just the control of the virus, but there's other things going on in the body that affect the patients, this concept of combining remdesivir with another agent, in this case an immunosuppressive, can provide even better benefit for later stage patients. And let me just say that we're not finished with remdesivir. So we're looking, and we started trials in September of looking at this medicine that's given by IV in the outpatient setting. So if we can keep people out of the hospital in high-risk cases. And we're starting also to look at this in an inhaled form, because if one could do it without an IV, right, but right to the site of where you get this replication of the virus in the lungs, we're also hopeful that you might be able to treat outside the hospital and prevent patients from ever going to the hospital. So we're firmly committed, as I know my colleagues are in the industry, to finding the path forward here.
Can you speak directly to the inhaler piece in terms of what you think the timing would be for both tests and potentially even getting that to the public? I think there's a lot of hope around that, and a lot of people are hoping that come this spring, between a vaccine and therapeutics, maybe like the one you're talking about, that the world could have a lot more confidence in going back to some real semblance of normal. What does that timeline even look like for you in your mind?
So I think the concept of using remdesivir as an IV outpatient, so for nursing homes or other settings, that's probably a shorter timeline. The inhaled version, remember, we're moving at light speed in the industry. In fact, from when this virus first showed its head in January, in 3 months' time, we had the first of our gold standard trials. But with a new formulation of a medicine, it does take a little bit longer. So we're in the early stages of testing for that. Having said that, we'll also look to accelerate that. So depending on the results that we see over the coming months with this early stage testing, we may be moving this into later stage trials towards the end of this year, early next year. And we'll just have to see. We want to follow the science here. We don't want to get ahead of it. We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for patients and for society. But it's really a next year issue to get more information and data on the inhaled version.